But if you have a look at this, this is the Strike Cloud 360 app that we were talking about earlier on tonight. This is a live clip and actually live footage of what we're seeing here tonight. You can do that at home. Use the Strike Cloud 360 app. Incredible. The game is already underway, AJ. We're talking about the VR in a minute.
Talking about the VR, and they've already started.
Look at this. The girls are underway. So Sweden versus Germany in the final to be the ladies doubles champion, the IBF 2021.
Good shot there to start the match off. Just couldn't quite get him to mix up well to kick out the 7-pin. Should be a fairly routine spare for Sandra. And
now,
I'm just going to stop saying it before they throw it.
AJ.
I'm just going to stop saying it
in bowling history, you wouldn't expect that to happen, right? No?
Not at all. Single pin spares are, you know, they're 99%. They're 99%ly made on tour and by the world players across the entire world like this.
Unbelievable. Right, Team Germany up. And here we go. Let's see what they've got. Amazingly clinical in their first semi-final, of course, and there we go. Back again.
She's picked up right where she left off from the semi-final match. She had the best ball reaction, I think, in the match that she bowled before, and she's proven that right there with the first one this game.
Now, if you want to get into the heart of the action, don't forget, as I said early on, Strike Cloud 360. Go to your app stores, download Strike Cloud 360. It's free, and you can choose the images, the views, the visions. 360. You can choose the camera angles that you want to do, and for the first time, AJ, you've nearly kind of been lost for words, my friend.
I know, it's amazing to have that here, for people back home to see, like, you literally feel like you're standing right here in Dubai on the set watching what's going on.
You can see what's going on behind the scenes. You can see all the teammates. You can see all the captains doing their thing. And Sweden carry on. And again,
another good shot.
Another good shot.
Just don't get the 10-pin out.
So we've been doing really well tonight. We've had a fabulous evening of bowling so far, and of course culminating in this, the first of the two finals. In 2021, we welcome you to the heart of Dubai, Expo 2020, the fabulous event that's going to be here until the 31st of March. If you're in the region or close by, come on down and experience a natural wonder in the desert. Sweden,
that's
though,
a little more like it.
Wondering what they have to do to be the world champions tonight. Continue on like that wouldn't be helpful.
Yeah, they making spares, filling the frames like that. That's a little bit more routine. A little bit that's more expected out of these bowlers. See if Germany can get off to an early double, and they did.
And they did indeed. And of course, Martina and Janin, they're doing superbly well. She's had that from the first game.
Yeah, she's had it from the get-go, and I've enjoyed watching her throw shots this week because she's adopted more of the modern style power player. Like, she could hook it with the guys.
Great shot again. Sweden, Sandra Andersson there, keeping her eye on the prize. Now, we talked earlier on, AJ, about the prestige of being the world champion in any of the formats. There's been singles, there's doubles, there's teams and trios, and the teams and trios are still to come tomorrow and the next night here in Dubai. But we're concentrating on the doubles, Sweden.
And we also have the first ever mixed team event.
Mixed team event as well, yes.
Two guys and two girls.
And the world of bowling, 10-pin bowling certainly, and bowling itself has seemed to evolve. It was at a level and you know, just not mundane or anything, but now has exploded in what it's doing around the world. It's amazing.
It's absolutely incredible to see how much the sport of bowling has changed and immersed across the entire world in competition like this.
And it's not just bowling. It's not just the traditional countries like the US, which are the powerhouse and always have been the powerhouse of bowling.
Sure.
We see emerging countries like Malaysia and, of course, we see Lithuania tonight, Finland, places like that which you wouldn't normally associate. Well, laymen wouldn't, but literally forging ahead in the way of the world of bowling.
Absolutely, and it just goes to show how much the sport of bowling has grown and how the players from other countries, what they've adopted and what they've been able to do in learning like what we have been able to, and it has made us as good as we have.
Sweden coming up there with their shot, and we've got a super shot there.
That's as good as it gets right there. They're going to need a few more like that to keep them in this match, because Germany's off to a really good start.
Janin playing falls there, super shot, great shot indeed. And the team manager just behind getting some refreshment. He's got a little bit of nerves on this warm evening here in Dubai. I say warm, if you're sitting around Europe at the moment, it's going to be quite cool, not very warm at all. I feel quite, you know, I'm sorry to tell you, there's about 28 degrees here in Dubai currently.
Yeah.
Great shot there for the Germans.
So you say 28 degrees, and that's cold in my world.
We used to do it the way that you do it, so it's double it and add 30, so 56, 86, nearly 90 degrees.
Yeah,
so
that's warm.
That's warm, yeah. We used to be how you used to be back in the UK, and then that's how I did it at school, and then suddenly they all changed, and we all have to go, right, okay, dun, 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 dun.
You do a little math with it.
Yeah, exactly. Sweden concentration.
It's a good shot here to get back in the match.
Now for me,
a bit heavy on the head pin.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that actually. For me, I was going to think that was going to strike and do what it needed to do.
Yeah, mix them up a little bit. Yeah, we call that a fast 8. So it's good enough to hit the pocket, but it's just a bit too heavy on the head pin to leave the 4-7.
There is a whole world out there of science and technology behind bowling, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
You know, when you first started bowling, you came to the college scene, and then you're now a full-time professional. How did you suddenly start thinking bowling different from like the basic bowlers like myself, who kind of just throw it down there as fast and hard as we can?
Yeah, you know, so I actually started bowling when I was 3 years old. Something I just, I always did. I played a bunch of other sports growing up, but bowling just it led to stepping stones to where I am now. And as I got older and I learned and I watched more, that's how I became from, just throwing the ball down there, knocking pins over, having to come back, do it all over again.
Many a night I've spent at the bowling alley, maybe quite a few years ago, where my friends and colleagues would be trying to throw it literally, and it'd be letting go in the air and crashing down onto the lane, which is obviously not what you're aiming to do.
There are some times that I wish I could go back and I could go out sometimes and enjoy it, kind of like what my nephew's actually doing as we speak back home in the U.S. He's bowling league this morning, and
good lad.
He loves.
What's his name? Let's give him a shout out. Your nephew?
Mason Byan.
Mason Byan, good luck in the league, my friend, this morning. Mason, I wish you well. And
he just loves to throw it down there and to knock over as many pins, and then it comes back and he watches and makes adjustments and whatever he wants to do, and he just enjoys it.
Hey Mason, Uncle AJ is really proud of you, I can tell you that right now. He may be thousands of miles away, enjoying himself in the sunshine, but he wishing he was with you. Right, back to the semi-final. Oh, sorry, the final. We're talking about Sweden there.
Oh, that was...
Now that's...
Yeah, that was a little bit wide of target. I don't think she liked that one very much. You can tell by the look on her face.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely indeed. So following this match, of course, we have the men's final, and it's going to be one heck of a final. Sweden will be taking on Lithuania in that final. Of course, sorry, Chris, AJ, sorry about to do this. Of course, the knocking out the American team in that last semi-final match.
That one hurt my heart a little bit.
I know, I can see it.
It's very unlike them. That's usually it's a spare that's easily choppable like that. It's easy, to take the front two off of that one in the back, but it's also one that we make fairly often as well.
Well, you expect even I would imagine like a club league bowler, if you hit that first pin, then, that's going to do the job, but...
Yeah, we always joke and say on most spares, and even on the strike ball, hit the one in front. You'll generally be okay.
That's a good little bit of an adage there, bowling adage from AJ, taking us through to this almost like that, just over the halfway mark in this ladies' final first of the matches as we come up. Germany taking a run up in to get the spare.
Germany's off to a really good start here. They throw some good shots to start the match. A couple of spares there in the middle, and they're putting the pressure on the Swedish team. early on, and we'll see if they can continue that.
Now, we saw yesterday in the finals, the men's and the ladies' finals, a couple of the players switching out the balls during the game and during the match. I've not noticed that tonight so far. Is that something that is just not happening tonight, or is it just something that's something different?
It's tough to do when you have a one-game match like this. You want to find the ball that you feel comfortable with, that you feel like gives you the best reaction, and you want to stick with that. You don't want to be second-guessing yourself and making ball changes in the middle of a match. Now, the difference with the format having the race to 2, maybe they'll look at a different option as we get towards the end.
Okay.
It gives them something a little bit better for that second game, but
power strike from Germany again.
When you throw shots like that with what you feel comfortable with, there's no second guessing yourself there.
Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, this is a race to 2. Race to 2. Almost halfway through the first one. Still racing to 2.
So Sweden coming up in the wonderful position that we are. You can see over the top of the right-hand shoulder of our Swedish team there, of course, the Australian pavilion. Could it be the home?
Another good shot there.
Great shot. Could it be the home of bowling in Brisbane 2032? Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so. Bowling going forward at a rate of knots. AJ, you guys are all world stars. What's the kind of aim for you as a bowler and all your compatriots and also fellow colleagues? Would you like to make it to the Olympics one day? Can you imagine that?
It's something that has been talked about a lot in our sport. We have been trying so much to get bowling in the Olympics. We've made it to the final ballot a couple of times, only to be selected over by some other sports. But that's the big goal of bowling, is to get us in the Olympics. I don't think any of us competing across the world from any country wants that more.
Well, of course, this is the format, this is the way bowling's going, and if anything is to go by what we've seen so far, this hopefully will be the best advert for the world of bowling. And let's see what happens for Brisbane 2032. But back to the final. Germany bowling well, and this is going to be something, this is what they were trying to do there. Hit the pin across, take out the 10 pin.
You want to make sure that you get count on that split. That's a tough one to make. Want to make sure you get the 2 pins so you maintain count. But if you're fortunate enough to get them to mix around, you can make it as well. But it's one of the ones that's pretty difficult to make.
So Sweden, we got Sandra and Janin there taking up their positions, teammates. Martina and Janin, of course, for the German team. Smooth action.
Another good shot there by Sandra.
Now, your observations of what we've seen so far. We've got 2 lanes here, purpose-built for these championships. Is there one that's better than the other? Sometimes you can say, like, in a golfer, this club's better than the other. Is there a lane that you think is to be your strike lane?
I think when you have just these 2 lanes, one tends to be a little bit better than the other. And I think we've seen in the matches so far that the right lane has played a little bit better, or the left lane, excuse me, has played a little bit better for the teams. Of course, I say that in their German team has split the last 2 frames. But as we've seen in the matches previous to this, I feel like the left lane has played a little bit better for the teams and have scored a little bit better. So it's tough to say this early on, and I haven't physically gone out there and seen a whole lot of balls go down the lane to tell one lane is significantly better than the other because they are new installs.
Now, what do we see there? That was the 7 pin, and then leaving. So was that?
That was the 4-7-10. Okay. And what she was trying to do, I think, was she was trying to make it. And what you have to do is try to get closer to the 7 pin so the ball clips the 4, and the 4 pin slides over to take out the 10 pin.
Just not working out on that occasion.
Good shot there.
Good shot there indeed by Sweden, of course. They're looking
got
fabulous.
the pin to come over and take out one of them. Fortunate there, because we definitely don't like seeing the 2 stand up in the corners, because if there's anything that's impossible to make, that's it.
Janin playing fours there, leaving that 7 pin in position. And
just
what did we say there?
Yeah, that's just unlucky.
Unlucky. We'll go with unlucky. Super night here in Dubai.
She definitely missed. That's for sure. I don't think she was trying to get that far over to the left of that. But I think she did catch it enough to where it could have fallen over.
Right, we're back on the left lane. Is it commentator's curse? You called it the good lane.
I had to say it.
I had to say it, didn't I?
Say it.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to be bad luck there for the German team, and I'm sure if they hunt me down after this match, I'm going to be in trouble. But Martina and Janin, sorry about that.
I think with these last 3 frames, they're gonna talk a little bit. I would think that they would talk a little about maybe definitely making a move, maybe looking at a different ball to give them a little bit better reaction, because they split the last 3 frames. And I have a feeling they're going to need to close a lot of those frames out in this next game if they want to win.
Now, these are the kind of the shots that they're missing that they made maybe in the semi-finals.
Sure.
And of course, the lane has been the lanes have been re-oiled, of course, for the final.
Yep.
Making any difference at all, do you think?
Every time you oil a pair of lanes,
yep,
it definitely makes it different. It makes the lanes a little bit tighter, makes the oil play a little bit flatter down lane. So it's not going to be they're not going to see that, exactly the same as what they did when they bowled the first match.
Now, of course, anybody will tell you how the process works there, and of course how the re-oiling works in just a couple of moments. But if you can imagine your printer at home with the little slider, you open up the top of the printer and the inkjet goes swinging across the paper to print something. That's much like how the process as the machine goes down the lane and oils the surface. That's about as good as I can describe it. I'm sure you can do a better job, AJ.
Yeah, it's pretty close, but when the oil machine goes down, it's laying oil on the lane
in Germany there.
In different volumes and in a shape across every board, and it's dispersing the oil across the lane in a pattern form. That's why we call it the lane pattern. And so the machine goes down, it's stripping the old oil off. And as it's coming back, it's laying out the new pattern, and they can control the distance, the volume, how much volume is on each board. It's crazy when you get involved in a lot of that stuff. Way above my pay grade.
Right, we're into the second game of the race to 2 in this ladies doubles semi-final. It is still all to play for, and of course, it is the first team to get those 2 victory games. 2 victory matches. Germany in the final against Sweden. Clinical bowling, still all to play for, AJ.
There is. Then both teams got off to a really good start, throwing an early strike.
Now you can see on the bowlers' heads, of course, and most of the spectators here, the humidity is slightly changing again. It's, you and I sitting here, it's getting a bit more humid, isn't it?
I'm starting to feel it, and I think the
there we
players
go.
do as well. Yeah, they're fanning them off. I think the most important thing when the humidity changes like this is the soccer ball comes flying across.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone could have seen that back home on the stream, but there was a soccer ball that literally just came flying across from the soccer fields adjacent to us.
The 2 Swedish girls, as you can see there, just looking to their left. What you couldn't see at home was behind us here is the football academy of AC Milan and Manchester City. And somebody's got a very bit eager in the background and launched a football straight out of the top of our supporters, landing just short of the Swedish girls there, who literally going, right, but you can imagine it, boys, what are they doing?
Yeah, exactly. But what I was talking about, the humidity, is probably the most important thing that they have to pay attention to is maybe what it's doing with their hand.
Yep.
That's the one point of contact that we have with the bowling ball, and if it feels a little bit off or there's a little bit moisture there that we're not necessarily used to, it can change a little bit in the way we deliver it.
Just to remind you of the scores so far, Germany are 1 set up in this race to 2 in the women's final of the IBF World Championships. And if, of course, they continue on this theme, they will be taking on and taking home that gold medal, which I'm sure they really, well, both teams would love to have.
Germany starting off with an early double, and Sweden now with Sandra making another good shot, leaving the dreaded 10-pin.
So if Germany win this match, this set, then they are the World Doubles Women's Championships of 2021. However, can Sweden take it to a 3rd set? Let's find out as we continue here in Dubai. Now, was that a slip?
Yeah. I don't know if she slipped or stuck.
I think she
but
did.
It looked like she fell a little bit. And
yeah. Now, what do you do in this situation, AJ? What does a bowler do? Do you take a cloth or a towel or a rag or something there to kind of...
Yeah, I think you can, we want to check our slide to make sure it's okay. If there's something there on the approach that we didn't see, you want to take a towel or something, kind of wipe away what was there, and then check our shoe, brush it off, and make sure that our shoes are clean before we go up and throw a shot. But yeah, that was could have almost potentially been hurtful for her, depending on what that ball did when she fell.
I'm glad she looks all right as Germany continue on what has been the dominance of this ladies' final so far, and just the bite didn't come through, huh?
I think she threw that one a little slower than what she did the ones previous to that. So the slower ball speed with how she rotates and what she does with the bowling ball allowed that one to come in a little bit heavy on the head pin and leave the 410.
I'm glad you said that, because I was just about to say those exact words myself, AJ.
I took the words right out of your mouth,
you
right?
You did not. So that's the best you could. That's the best you could do, really, in that position. Arguably.
Yeah, when you have an early double and your opponent also has an open like that, and barring anything crazy happening, you want to make sure you do get the count. Whenever we split. You want to try to make sure you get as many pins as possible in the frame if you're not going to make it. And splits usually aren't made very often.
Now, we're just seeing there the Swedish team there just giving a little bit of a mop to the floor. There's the boys who are getting ready. The men getting ready, of course, for the final. But you're seeing here action of... Now, is this going to play on the Swedish team's mind here, having had a little slip in a moment ago, forcing the ball down the gully?
They haven't had many issues with their footing until Sandra shot that spare.
I think we've got a slight injury here, actually. It looks like Sandra has a slight limp going on the left-hand side of your screen there. Sandra in the dark hair with the glasses on. Looks like she's slightly limping after that fall.
Yeah. When she, I caught a very quick glimpse of it. I don't know if many people saw that back home or who was watching the stream, but when she shot that spare, she went down, and she went down fairly hard. So I'm hoping that she's okay. She can kind of walk it off a little bit, and that their footing will be okay the rest of this match.
Okay, here's a quick question. What happens if the worst happens? If she is injured and can't carry on, do you forfeit the game? Can you get the substitute? What happens?
I'm actually not 100% sure in that situation.
It doesn't happen, huh?
Yeah, we really haven't seen that happen very much.
Well, let's hope for the very best for the Swedish team, because as we can see, slight look of distress on Sandra Arnesson's face there. She slipped and fell, and this is the moment that it happened. The left ankle went over. That looks like a nasty ligament twist. She probably won't realize it until a couple of seconds. Her ball went off to the gully, and that's where the pain literally jumped in, AJ.
Yeah, you see her slide foot kind of stick a little bit, and her ankle rolled over. She was able to catch her balance and stop her from falling on the lane, which is good. But yeah, seeing that ankle roll like that, we don't like to see that at all.
Now, do you have such things in bowling? And again, this is me from my novice perspective as a medical timeout. Do you have doctors or medics who can actually look at any injuries you have?
We usually don't travel with them. I know in the past we've had a guy that has traveled with us that is very knowledgeable about that kind of things and can help us take care of those. But I hope that they have somebody here, somebody that knows, something went wrong, that they can help them.
Now, in the background, we've got a gentleman there who's talking to the bowlers about the procedure and what's happening. Who is the gentleman in the back of the screen that we just saw there?
That's Kirk Von Kruger. He's the former PBA tournament director.
Okay, and he's of course advising the players as to what's happened. I can't tell you enough from my perspective, how this is going to affect the Swedish bowlers. I think, subliminally in their mind, it's like anything. If you're a footballer, soccer player, whatever you do, if you fall over, if something goes wrong, it's going to be hard to take it out of your mind, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's like, an American football player, a kicker. If they go to kick a field goal or an extra point before and they slip, if they got to kick one later in the game to potentially win that game, they're going to be thinking about their footing a little bit. So I hope they can put this out of mind and throw great shots.
Steps up, and there we go, 9 down.
that's a really good shot after seeing what Sandra had to go through. That's a really great shot there by Jolene.
I can't help but think in her mind when she steps up to bowl next, whichever lane it is that she's bowling on, she's going to be thinking about that slip.
Yeah, I said nothing before she shot it.
I know you didn't. It was Martin Larsson in the background there, as my fellow commentator last night in some very fetching shorts, as the Team Sweden, gets the latest on the injury to Sandra, who fell over very awkwardly and very heavy on her left ankle. But we move on to Team Germany now. Martina and Janin carrying on. This looks like, you know, if the gods are with you, you know, with the fall happening there to Sweden and Germany being dominant in that first match, first set, it looks like it's heading that way, but never say never.
You know, and as a competitor, you never want to see something like that happen. You want to be competing at your best as well as your competitors, because you would never wish anything ill like that. You know, it's an unfortunate circumstance that happened. We don't deal with that hardly very often at all.
Now, Sandra was just about to step up to bowl there. It looks like she's lost her confidence. I think we've got a member of the team here, the tech team, who are going to be on to the lane there to make right what she thinks is not right in this occasion.
You got a towel out there to kind of wipe away, you know, maybe something that she's stuck on, and the guy doing that is the one that's been maintaining our lanes throughout the entire tournament.
Have you seen, or do you come across things like this too often, AJ, in the world of bowling?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, but that's one thing when we travel to tournaments. You know, whether it be across the United States or whether it be across the world, you know, when we get to a new bowling center, the one thing that we always check is our footing, our slide, and you know, whether it's going to be a little sticky, a little slick. You know, the bowling center over at the Dubai International Bowling Center this week, the approaches have been a little slick.
Okay.
Versus when you come over here, I feel like the approaches have been a little tacky, as we just saw.
What do you want? Do you want it? You want a little bit of slickness, I suppose, because you got to slide a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. You want kind of that perfect balance of in between that. You don't want to slide too much, and you definitely don't want to stick too much.
We're looking at the current world champion, last night crowned here in Dubai, just before the witching hour of midnight. James Blumgren there, the current IBF World Singles Men's Champion, looking on with his Swedish teammates, and of course looking over anxiously at one of his compatriots, of course, Sandra Andersson, going down heavy on her left ankle, and of course causing a little bit of a technical break. She's stepping up now, though, with the ball in her hand. She's about to come down the right-hand lane, as we'll cut to this action, and we'll see how she copes with this delivery.
That's an impressive
the way back.
shot.
No, she looks like she came to that a little bit more tentatively. She didn't kind of come into that with a power drive into the legs.
Yeah, it looked like she took softer steps, a little bit slower steps to make sure that her footing was good.
Well done, Sandra.
she did a great job of putting that out of mind to step up and make a great shot.
Yeah, that's the best medicine for any ill, isn't it? Just make sure you get it down there, hit that strike,
100%,
and you're back. Meanwhile, Germany one up in this best race to two in this women's doubles final here in Dubai.
Very fortunate break there to get the 10 to fall out of the 310. That's that little baby split, as we call it, is, you know, somewhat of an easier split to make, but one that always kind of dreads us players. We usually end up taking one off of that. Yeah, so
here's a question:
a good break there.
How do you practice for things like that? So say you're at a tournament and you've got a problem with hitting a 7-10 pin, and you've just not done it in many games. As we see the spare there for Germany taken away. How do you practice? How do you set that up in a bowling lane? How do you do it?
Some bowling centers back in the States have pin setters and scoring units where you can program in what you want the pin setters to spot every time. So it'll spot that pin every time, so you can just shoot it over and over and over again. Or if you can't do that and you have a full rack to shoot at, you can adjust and line up to where that pin is that you want to hit and just focus on hitting that pin consistently.
Team Sweden coming back after the strike earlier on from Sarah Anderson. Janin Plainforce comes in with her strike as well to go alongside her teammates. And look at the joy in her face. Well done, Team Sweden.
Those are 2 great shots after what happened to Sandra to give them a double there.
Now the crowd here in Dubai sitting there expectantly of a fabulous ladies
Another
final.
great shot.
You could see strike written on that one, huh?
I saw that one as soon as she let go of it. That was a great shot. That's as good as it gets right there.
So we're halfway through the second match, or second set of this fabulous ladies doubles final. Germany 1 up. Sweden need to take this one though to bring it back to 1-1 as that race to 2 continues. Sandra, can she continue? Now,
that one looked like it did the right thing and looked like it was pretty close to the last one, and it got down lane and it was almost like the ball was out of energy and it just kind of squirted on her.
It did. It looks like it lost its legs at the end, didn't it?
Yeah.
Sandra Anderson again after that. Oh,
give this
good
one
fall.
a bit of a go. Get a bounce. No, it tried.
Yeah.
It tried to bounce out.
Now, is that what we discovered from last night, of course, because this has been a purpose-built lane set for these finals. Would you expect, I suppose you can never guess out really what's going to happen, but would you expect in a cemented-in bowling alley that would come back and take out the 10-pin?
You never plan for pins like that to bounce out. That's usually what we call a lucky break.
Okay.
If a pin bounces out of the back, it takes out another.
But that was not a lucky break as
Not
Germany are cementing through. Martina Schutz and Janin Ribguth are powering ahead in this final, as you can see the ecstatic look on her face there.
If you think they're showing excitement, you just wait until tomorrow night's finals.
Wow, I'm looking forward to this. Keeping me up all night here in Dubai. Look, it was so exciting last night. We left here around about 1:45 in the morning, Dubai time, and I realized I hadn't had any food to eat all day. So I found myself in my hotel room eating one of those takeaway burgers that you don't want to eat at 1:30 in the morning.
Not at all. Not at all. But probably necessary, I would assume.
Oh, yes, definitely. But I think the guys are going to be all healthy and ready for tomorrow night's fabulous actions. Of course, as you come through to this amazing scene here in Dubai, the IBF World Championships 2021.
Clean that one up with no problem, and hopefully they can put together a string of strikes to end this match and get this game closer.
Slight pause there as Germany coming up to their lane, looking for even more pressure to take them into that position.
That was a great shot there. Great shot there. That was
German crowd lively in the gallery tonight.
Yeah, she got that one. She got that light mixer. We talked about that earlier. Didn't quite get as high flush as the last shot that she threw, but still good enough to strike and mix the pins up.
Looking at this score, I think I'm not going to count out the Swedes just yet, but it looks like Germany are powering through, right?
Yeah, you can't count them out just yet. They start striking here, just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah,
That's what they needed.
Start throwing some strikes like that, and then maybe a couple of pin carry to not go the way of the Germans, and we got ourselves a match. But the way that the Germans have been throwing their last few shots, I think they're pretty dialed in.
Bit of fingernail biting there in the audience.
I've always said it's more nerve-wracking watching or being a coach than actually playing.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, it's like anything, isn't it? It's like your favorite soccer team or baseball team or whatever it is, football team, and it's really hard work sometimes, huh?
Yes, it is. Yes,
when you're in the moment of the action, you just gotta, you do what you do, right?
Yeah.
Now, stepping away from the lane, what happened there, AJ? I missed that. Did we see the pins?
I think they're waiting on a pin recycle from the other lane.
Okay.
On the other lane. so they get a full spot of pins, and then so that way they're not worrying about the rack coming down in the middle of their
of their action. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That's a great shot there.
This is looking very, very good for Germany.
That's a
Martina
great shot.
Schutz, Janin, Ribguth.
And
Again,
when you're on the verge of winning a gold medal and you're in your final game and you're coming down the stretch, those are the type of shots that that you need to make. That's being clutch right there.
you can almost see that it's an automated routine that they're going through.
Absolutely.
Sweden, though, fighting back, but maybe
Doesn't have enough there at the end.
just not there, is it? Just not there for them in this moment in time. 156 to Germany, 113 on the board for Sweden currently. But of course, with the with this game, but it's obviously with the strikes that
Yeah,
Germany had, they're
if-
going to be well ahead of that.
If Sweden strikes out, they can only get to 183, and if Germany strikes out, they can shoot 240, over
Okay.
240.
So we're looking like we're going to be seeing crowned women's doubles champions, the
Good
German
spare there.
team.
Good spare.
Well done. There it looks like, I'm going to say they're Swedish, but I don't know. Who knows? They could be Swedes, they could be Germans, but either way, they're loving the bowling. As we are here in Dubai. Oh, and now the
already.
crowd are on their feet. And here we go.
And
This
that
is
just about all locks it up right there.
Oh, look at that. Congratulations to Germany. That is them through. And, of course, now successful as the women's doubles world champions of 2021. It is Germany, and look at the faces there. Well done to a fabulous Martina and Janin. Oh, this must be hard to watch.
Yeah, it's these are the moments that you live for in our sport. Competing for your country, competing together with your teammate. Yeah, they're gonna enjoy this one for a while. You can see the excitement, and I think she's starting to tear up a little bit. I got chills watching her throw that last shot.
Oh, bless her. The Swedes in the background just consolating each other. It is amazing. As you can see, just finishing off here, Germany will be crowned as the World Champions 2021. IBF World Championships here in Dubai has just got serious with, of course, Martina Schutz and Janin Ribguth crowned as the Women's Doubles World Champions in 2021. What a match, AJ.
That was incredible, and I think this started from match one with the Germans. They came out firing on all cylinders in the first match. They were striking, they were stringing strikes together, and they committed to a game plan and they executed it flawlessly.
Well, you can see
Congratulations.
the glasses coming off. She has been absolutely clinical in this final, and look at that. Doesn't she absolutely deserve the applause, the adulation that she's getting from the crowd, and even AJ's clapping along here in the commentary booth. Well done, AJ. What a lovely scene, and well done to Germany, Team Germany.